Good morning, everybody. This is Jared Klassen with Upscale Detail Co. And today we have Silas and Scott from Matter of Fact Roofing. They reached out to me roughly about a month ago, right? And saw that we were doing the podcast. You know, the whole purpose of the podcast is to help other business owners in Columbus, Georgia, and the surrounding areas help get exposure. Businesses helping businesses. And, I just kind of wanted to bring you guys on the show. You're prior military, so much respect, brother.
Appreciate it.
So how did Matter of Fact Roofing start? And let's go from there.
All right.
You want to do it? You want me to do?
I said, well, we decided, what was it, back in 2023?
Yeah, roughly.
Kind of a little back history on us. I said we've been in the industry now for about 4 years. He started a little bit before I did. I came in from actually Colorado during COVID. Just everything was shut down. I was trying to go through school of mines up there for engineering. I was working part-time up there as bar security. COVID shut us down, so I was sitting in my little itty-bitty 300 square foot studio apartment, not doing nothing. He called me up and I was like, hey dude, I got work. So I pretty much packed everything up and headed down here, and that was 4 years ago now.
Yeah, we had actually been talking for off and on throughout the thing because I had just retired.
Yeah.
I literally just.
How many years do you have?
I did 10 and a half.
Okay, yeah, I'm at 11 as soon as I get out, man.
I did 10 and a half, man. I did 3 deployments, and then I got back and they did their medical stuff.
Yep.
And they were like, "You're done," and I was like, "Oh, great, awesome. What now?" So I went home and I was like, "Cool, I'll just do the whole." Stay in the back, homestead with the kids and everything else. My wife tried to do homeschooling, and I mean that worked for about a year, and then I got bored, dude. I got bored.
The whole reason I started Upscale is because I got bored.
Yeah.
I was in Captain Careers course, and I'm like, this is stupid. And I was like, I need something to do other than sit in a classroom all day, and until I started detailing cars.
And we actually had a roof leak, and I called a few people, and a guy came out at 7 o'clock at night. And yeah, it should have been a red flag, but I never done it before. I never done anything. This was my first home, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. He showed up, jumped up there, and I walked around the roof with him, saw some stuff, and I was like, that's a little sketchy looking, but okay. I didn't know. And he does this whole spiel. We sit down, sign some papers, call the insurance company, start the process. And a couple of months goes by, and he calls me. He's like, hey, you want a job? And I was like, I looked at my wife, and I was like, I'm bored. Like, I want to do something.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, yeah, no problem. So I started doing that. And at first, it was fine. I made some decent money. That's when I called him, and I was like, hey, man, it's not that hard of a job. It's pretty simple. You just go talk to somebody. You go talk to somebody. Here's the products you have. If they want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. That's all I knew at the time. So he was like, okay, cool. I don't got a job right now. So he moved down, and after, probably 2 months of us doing it together, the owner started to get more and more just wouldn't show up.
Really?
He wasn't showing up. So we started to get, instead of just sales, we started to get more and more of a workload. Like, hey, if we want to keep making money and make this happen, we got to start doing more. So we started spending a lot more time in the office actually learning
the
business side more. And after, I think, 6 months-ish?
6 months, yeah.
After 6 months of going back and forth with the owner, because he would show up once or twice throughout the week, and 1 month he want his paycheck, and we're trying to find all kinds of, we're trying to organize, hey, we got to have our guys come build this roof, we got to collect this money, we got to go talk to these people. We're trying to organize something that we've never really had to do before. And so we're trying to learn QuickBooks, we're trying to learn all this information. And he's showing up and be like, hey, I should have $30,000. We're like, no, you shouldn't have $30,000 because we just bought $100,000 in materials. You minus everything out, plus your labor, plus everything else. You maybe have a couple thousand.
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing. And then after a while, we were like, dude, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. Either we take this over, you sign it over to us, and let us try to do something, or we're going to have to leave.
And you know, just kind of like going into that thing, that having so many people on the show, the most successful business owners I see are the ones that are doing all the back end stuff, and they're enabling their team to do the things on the ground operations. It's kind of like the Army, right? You have the officers that are in the background doing all the boring stuff, and then you got the NCOs that are out there actually doing the work.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's funny you said that. I was an NCO.
Yeah, I was enlisted too. So
he was doing the officer stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the brains, man. So like when it came to the numbers and everything, I could talk the talk and I go out there and walk the walk. When it came to the back end stuff, there was so much like the QuickBooks and the back end stuff that I was like, dude, my brain is not working for this. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he'd be there and he'd knock it out in 10, 15 minutes. And I'm looking like, okay, you're going to have to slow that down and break it down for me, bro. Like,
I think you kind of know with talking to multiple business owners, it's especially when you're talking about entrepreneurship, it takes a specific mindset and a specific person to kind of charge that path. And I think we all know enough of them where not all of them, but quite a few of them, just absolutely, it drives them up a wall sitting in an office behind a desk. They feel like they're in a cage. I can't do this. I should be out there talking to people, or I need to be out there selling something.
You have to find the balance.
Exactly.
So like for me, example, I don't really like paperwork, but I have a team. I have an accountant that does my books. I love marketing. Marketing is my favorite thing. I'm out there, I'm meeting people, I'm shaking hands, I'm creating relationships. That's me. But like I love sales as well. But, you know, I have to put trust into my team so they have opportunities as well. And that's why, like, Brian will be on the show, or, you know, they have opportunities to make commissions, you know, things like that. And that's super important, creating your core values and your culture in your company. But so to get back on track, so do you guys have crews now, or?
we do.
Yes.
We absolutely do. And after that, like, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that you learn things as you first start.
Yep.
That it's either misinformation or it's, why are we doing it that way? Why does that doesn't make any sense. And we learned a whole lot of what not to do.
Very inefficient practices that just slow
and you
things
know
down.
this, you know, systems and processes.
Yep.
If you don't have a system for something in your business, you're just going to be reacting rather than you already have a plan, you're ready to go, and
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Exactly.
Be proactive.
And we have daily meetings.
Yep.
Like, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is on the schedule. This is how we're going to achieve it. This is the glide path to the end of the day. If you do that, your team is going to have, you know, comfortability. They're going to have predictability, and they're going to walk in that door or the front of the door or come into your business, and they're not going to be stressed out.
Yeah.
Which, when they're stressed in the workforce, it ruins everything.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
We found that out quite often, and that's part of the reason why
We started our own.
we started our own.
Yes.
Is after that 6 months, almost to a year, when we finally left, we were like, dude, we've learned a lot. Like, we can do this. And then we joined someone else because we weren't quite where we wanted to be yet. And that put us in a whole other bracket, because we went from just kind of feeling around the dark, figuring stuff out, to, okay, we've got a pretty good grasp on stuff. Let's put it into play. And we did that. We put it into play. And same thing. I mean, being in the military, you have great NCOs, you have great people above you, great generals. Then you have other people who you're like, dude, I don't know how you got there. Oh, but you shouldn't be. Like, and we ran into a few of those. We had a couple of good ones, good mentors. And that's a big thing too, is same thing. That can make or break a career.
It can.
It can.
And I'm really big on, you're either a yes or a no in my organization. There's not a maybe.
Yeah.
Like, if you walk in and say, I hire you, and you don't align with the core values, you're gone. the book that I love most is by Jocko Wilkes. I think it's you probably know what I'm talking about, the Navy SEAL guy. But basically, the whole thing about the book is it's called Extreme Ownership. It's taking ownership of everything that is in your life, your business, your family.
I know what you're talking about.
And it talks about in that book, there's people that come into your organization that will constantly blame things on other people rather than themselves, and that one seed can ruin your whole entire team. And
It's always somebody else's fault.
and be quick to hire. I actually have slowed down on the hiring. Like our last hire, we took a month.
Yeah.
Like we interviewed like 10 people.
Did you mean be slow to hire, quick to fire?
Yeah, slow to hire, quick to fire. That's what I meant, man. All right, it's early. But
I knew what you meant.
that's really, I think, and you guys know that there's a system. Like there's 2 interviews before they even get to me, and then we do background checks, and then we do drug tests.
He goes into that every action, doesn't matter what the outcome is your responsibility and your fault.
Exactly.
And it was a big pushback because people were like, that I didn't even have anything. He's like, no, if it's in your bubble, it's your responsibility.
So kind of going, deeper into it, you guys started learning all these, different systems with, another business owner, and, you decided to branch off. Did you guys go to any like professional training during that time to?
That's where we went back to. We found some good mentors that actually do the business, like not just roofing, but business in general. Gone to school for business. They've got the degrees. They have the life experience to go through it. Different contracting, construction, all that stuff. We found a couple of really good ones that helped us through that, and we went to seminars. And YouTube. Like we've already talked. Social media, YouTube, YouTube's, once you get the mentors that are out there and they can give you those links and everything else to go feed from, there's a lot you can learn that's correct. And that's what took us the longest to try to, I guess, compile those resources and to find the right ways to do things and get rid of all the bull.
And that's why I love going to like networking events because, dude, like we went to Mobile Tech and I met some really key players there. And, I actually got on a phone call with one of them. He owns a huge detailing shop in Mobile, Alabama. But he has like key performance indicator tracker, and it literally tracks everything that comes in his business when it comes to marketing. He's like, this is how I keep my marketing team in check. And I'm like, this is so simple, and I didn't even think about it. It's crazy because, like I believe that you're one person away from like sending your business to the next level, and there's always another level, right? Oh yeah. So, but
yeah, I got it.
Cool. So, once you guys decided to like go full time into your business, what year was that, and how did you kind of overcome that fear of going full in?
So. I'm sorry.
Let me take this one because this is more on me.
Hold on. One sec. So, it's a running joke between the two of us. It's a running joke because I'll throw ideas. I'll have, I'll wake up in the morning and be like, dude, we could do this. It'd be an amazing idea. I'm very much a dreamer. He's very realistic. So we work very well together because of that.
So you're the visionary.
Oh yeah, it works very well because of that. But there are some days when it's like I can spit out 50 ideas that I'm like, dude, these are money makers. Like this is amazing. This is gonna take us to the next level. And I'll see his face and I'll be like, oh great, here comes Duck Hunter. Because the old school Duck Hunter, when you just see those little ducks fly, and he's just boom every time. No, and here's why. I'm like, damn, bro.
I have valid reasons, though. I said yes. I said I do a lot, almost the majority of the back office stuff. So I said I'm pretty much keeping up a lot of the different code requirements, licensing requirements. So I said he has his absolutely strong suits with his military background. I said right now, he's getting to kind of take it a little bit easier right now because we don't have a huge staff right now. We don't have a bunch of sales team members. That's what he's really, really good at. I said when we work for these other companies, he was pretty much the guy training the teams, making sure that they were all where they're supposed to be, bringing them into the office to have that closed office where you can still hear through the door. What the heck are you doing, man? That's what he's great at. So he's learned that through his military career. Where yes, I back office stuff. So the client management systems, the websites, the licensing, making sure everything's up to date. That's something where I've learned and really strong with. I still am great with communicating with people, but he has that motivational to where he knows how to define why are you doing what you're doing. I can pinpoint exactly what you're doing because that's what he did for 12 years.
Yeah.
With all of his Joes, just he knows exactly where it needs to be.
And it's a gift, dude. It's an art.
It is.
Leadership is an art. It's always ever changing. Every person that you comes into your organization is different. And you have to meet them in the middle and try to figure out how they tick.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I get my shotgun out, it's not just because it's a bad idea. Because there are. I wish we could do a third, if not half, of the ideas that we come up with. It's just there's these things called laws and regulations that don't allow us to do a lot of these things. We can't go build somebody's house 4 foot over where it needs to be. I can't go add a deck out where it can't be. I have to go pull permits, and guess what? I don't have the licensing to pull that permit. So that's a great idea, but I can't do it.
But that's good that you guys are you have you're into the weeds of things,
Yeah.
which because. Ryan, who's he is my right hand man. He's the same way. I'm a big visionary. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And he's like, nah, boss. Nah. You gotta look at it like this. And I'm like, all right, you're right. You're right.
But that's,
you gotta have those people who are always thinking, oh, why don't we have all this? And you have to have these. It's team members are important because if you have. We've worked for those people who get stuck. I'm not saying having one person having a direction is a bad thing, but you can have it to where if the captain steering the ship is heading towards rocks and is refusing to listen to anybody else, then the whole ship's going to go down.
Oh, I agree.
So as an owner, like we both are, we definitely butt heads with each other. But if we can't be open with each other, like, hey, dude, this is why I think that's a bad idea, or hey, this is why this is a good idea. And if you can't have that open communication, then you're never going to get anywhere because your idea is not always going to be the best.
And I think what I've learned as being an owner is sometimes shut up and listen.
Yep.
And one of my mentors, that's one of his biggest things. He's like, just shut up and listen, man. You can learn a lot just observing.
You got 2 ears and one mouth. You do twice as much listening.
we've actually, like we said, we've listened to other podcasts and we follow other, big companies on there. And there's a few of them who they've had to do this by themselves. They've had to do it by themselves. And if you listen to some of them talk, they're like, it took them 4, 5, 6 years failing.
Yep.
Going somewhere and failing, and then most of them were like, until I found these 1 or 2 people.
Yep.
Until I found these 1 or 2 people. And then because of those 1 or 2 people, that brings new ideas, helps me steer away from those rocks.
Yep.
And like he said, dude, there are days. Oh man, there are days. Especially right now, because we're using one car, so we're switching cars. He's got his car, I'll have mine. Till I get the engine in the next the work truck, and then we'll be able to go off on our own. But every day, man, we are in the same car together every day, all day.
Great. It's usually
It's usually good, but there are days where it's like,
get out of my truck.
oh, dude.
Yeah, and that's normal, man. Sometimes you're just like, man, I don't want to see your face today.
but because of that, I think that definitely helped jumpstart us. Because, 2 heads are better than 1 in a lot of things. So I think that helped jumpstart us to get to a direction where we are able to offer the things we offer now that most take those a little bit extra time to get to. And
so what do you guys offer, just so our audience can know?
Yeah. So right now, there's a lot of companies out there who do 3-tab architectural shingles.
Yep.
Some offer metal, some offer the impact resistant, stuff like that. Well, for us, just because we're trying to do quality versus quantity, and there's a lot out there who they're going to pump out as much as they can.
Yep.
And do volume over the sustainability of it. And because of that, we found just us for our market and for our numbers that Brains here has figured out, we try to steer people away from that 3-tab. And I know it's a taboo and touchy thing, especially in roofing, because 3-tab is most people's bread and butter. It's the fastest to go back to get a new roof. It's the cheapest to put up, and it's way easier to be able to take off and just, oh yeah, I'll just replace your roof. And in 5 years, I'll come replace it again. Well, we don't do that unless somebody just absolutely wants a 3-tab. We come in there, and because of the profit margins we have and because of what we found and the products we use, we try to give that the customer the best possible product. And for us, that's architectural shingle. And so we'll literally, when we talk to homeowners who have 3-tab, we're able to offer the architectural shingle at almost damn near the same price point as the 3-tab. So we very rarely put a 3-tab back up there. And yes, that does extend the lifespan of that roof, which means it's going to take longer for that roof to go bad.
But you're doing what's best for your customer.
Exactly.
And you know, I'm big on that, dude. Like, I don't care, like, if I get less business from it. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
If I'm giving something of value to my customer that is going to save them money in the long run, I want to do it. Like our coating is a 5-year coating, but you know, a lot of people don't realize it, but it can actually last for 7 years. I undersell, over deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do
That's
the maintenance,
actually, we tell that all the time.
yeah. So like it's so important that you do that as a business owner. And kind of going into our next question, like, how have you guys dealt with like overcoming obstacles and fears? Because I feel like the roofing business can be probably pretty tough because there's so many people out there doing bids. People are wanting to get the best price. You got to deal with the insurance, and insurance is like, everybody knows insurance. They're gonna pay what they can so they make money.
Huh? Let me take this one.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll have some stuff to fill in too.
So I said, I'm definitely, yes, as the person, you know, who's blowing ideas out of the water, I definitely am more on the pessimistic side. So yeah, dealing with, for us, with fear, especially in the roofing space, like you said, there's a lot of other guys out there doing it right now. Trying to set yourself aside in a market that's flooded with the same thing. I mean, it's everybody's offering free inspections. Everybody's, you know, offering felt now. Everybody's offering, you know, architectural shingles. So what sets us apart from everybody else? That's probably the thing that is an issue, especially as a fear. Well, if I'm doing it like everybody else, how am I supposed to overcome that? Like, so that's a major obstacle and a fear at the same time. Like he said in the previous, you know, answers, we try to make sure that we educate the homeowner. And that basically helps us overcome our own obstacles, because the more we learn and are able to educate someone, the more educated I am on the overall project. So if I'm more educated, then I should be able to help somebody make a decision, simply not just based off of, you know, well, numbers. Okay, numbers anybody can sell. But if I can come into your home and literally relate to you on an emotional level, I mean, we know emotion sells.
Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing is your biggest selling point is giving value and education to your customers, rather than being like, oh yeah, we can get this roof up in 3 days. This is what you get. I'm out the door. Yeah. You're spending quality time with the customer, educating them, and that's what we do. We don't care if we spend 30, 40 minutes with a customer if we can give them the education and they understand it, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go to, you know, a competitor shop, they're in and out the door in 5 minutes, and then they don't know what product they're getting. Exactly. And if I can educate my customer on the product, how to maintain it, they're going to appreciate that a lot more.
So that goes back to the, you know, information's power.
Yes.
Information is power. And I'm sure in your industry too, but in our
100%,
in our industry, like I already said at the very beginning, we found out a lot of ways not to do something, and a lot of information that was very misleading that we didn't know when we first started. That's okay, this has to be right, because there's 1,000 people doing it.
With you, man. I mean,
there's 1,000 people doing this.
That's why we went and got certified.
Exactly. There's 1,000 people doing it this way. It's got to be right. And we had to figure those things out, and that's where there's a lot of people out there who hoard that information, keep that power, because it's information's power.
It is.
And if I hold that power, you don't have it, I can sell.
Yep.
We didn't like that. And that was one of the big things when we started, is when we looked at each other after going through these few things, we were like, I don't like the way this makes me feel. I don't like the way I don't like this at all. I want to do something different, and I want to do it right.
Good.
And so when we started our company, that was our biggest stuff, man. And we try to give the information to our customers, to the community. If they have, we still have people who didn't even buy a roof with us. But when they call us, they're like, dude, I have a question on this. What's your question? If I don't know it, I will find it and try to help you.
That's awesome, man.
And that's what we've tried to do, because when we sit down with our client, and I don't like the hard, pushy sale either.
Yeah.
You got to sign today. There's a sale going on today. It's got to happen.
The roof's going to collapse. You have to do it right now.
It's been up there for 15, 20 years. Yes, you have a leak.
Yeah.
Yes, you're missing shingles. It is going to get worse. Here's some information. I'll sit down with you, 30 minutes, an hour and 45. You want to bring the wife in? Let's all talk. I don't care. I'll go over every product any question you have, I'll go over it with you. We can go through all of our products, look at everything we have. Take your time. I'm in no rush.
Yeah.
It's your roof.
Right.
Take your time. You want to
Yeah.
get another estimate? You want to go do this? Dude, it's America.
Right.
Freedom. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's good, man. Like, it's you don't want to be pushy. I was in the insurance business for a while, and I learned and had to, but it's different in this space. Like, people are gonna buy it if they want.
And that was when we first started. Like I said, when we first started with somebody, it was, you got to get that roof. You have a quota. You've got to sell. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do this. Now, dude, I'd rather be able to come back in a month, sit down with a couple who might be 50, 60 years old, and have a 2-hour conversation, because they've gone through every single option that we've given them, every resource we've given them. They've looked at everything. They've talked to 5 or 6 different companies. And even though our estimate might be a little bit higher, they still chose us.
Yeah, because you had the willingness to sit down with them and go over everything and kind of have that family.
Yeah, and they're
mindset.
100% confident in it. That there is no, well, I don't know about this product. Are you sure? There is none of that. It's sit down. Absolutely, let's do this.
That's great.
I can't. I love this. This is amazing. Or can we change this? What do you want to change it to? Like, we try to keep them in the process and make them 100% comfortable. Because if they're not comfortable, I'm not putting that roof on.
Yeah, because that leads to more problems.
It's not happening.
Like, we've all experienced customers like that where your little bunnies are going off saying,
Yeah.
no, this ain't a good fit for us. And that's okay.
And that took us a year and a
A
half.
long time.
A year and a half when we first started. Once we started our own, we'd already figured that kink out. But that took it, because, like I said, that's what we were taught. That's what everybody's doing. You gotta get it.
But going back to that's another fear question that a lot of people have to overcome, because there is that fear of, well, if I don't get this sale, somebody else will. That's perfectly fine.
That's okay.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm religious, man. God always provides.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
God will always provide for you. If you ask, you will receive.
But I said, when we first started, there was that fear of, well, I'll do whatever it takes to get a customer. I said, it doesn't matter if red flags are going. It's like, after a while, you learn that's that little fear in the back of your head. It's like, it's okay. It's like, that's just, I don't know if you're going to be a good fit for our business. And that's perfectly okay to be like, hey, as a client, I think you'd be better served by somebody else.
And that also goes back into, dude, everybody, I have little girls.
Yeah.
I have 2 girls, I have 2 boys, but I do forever. I've always told them, know your worth. You're worth more than anything else. It doesn't matter if you've had a rough day. It doesn't, dude, I forgot his name. Oh man. He's a very motivational speaker, but he takes a $20 bill and crumbles it up. And he has somebody come up and he crumples this up. He's like, how much is this worth? $20. Throws it on the ground. How much is it worth? $20. Steps on it, smushes into the ground. How much is that worth? $20. Picks it up. It's all kinds of messed up, dude. all kinds. And the guy's like, still worth 20, right? Yeah. You still want it? Of course I want it. Why? Why can't we do the same? You get beat up, you get knocked down, you are worth everything.
Yeah.
And yet when we first started, it was that mentality of, oh, well, I can totally bring myself back down. You're right. I should be able to bring my price. No, dude, know your worth.
And that's something that took me some time to realize, because I don't, like, the whole reason that, we get into business, and this might be your guys' why too, is to have more freedom with our family. And, you being in the military, dude, 4:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. I've done that for 11 years. I'm tired of it, dude. Like, so I think where a lot of business owners struggle is they constantly want to do high volume rather than, hey, let's do high ticket, less work, and the high ticket items, the clients are going to love it. Most of the people that pay top dollar, they are very easy to work with. Like, Dr. Cooper was on here. He's one of my really loyal clients. It took me 3 years to get him into my business, but finally, we've built that trust, and he trusts me to do the job, but he pays me top dollar for it. But he understands that because he owns multiple businesses. So, and yeah, really cool guy, man. And
We've got a couple clients like that.
If you need any work back wise, he owns Chi Medical Group over in Phoenix City, and he works with VA guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're getting into stem cell therapy right now. So really cool technology
really awesome.
To help rejuvenate problems like knees, back. So
I'll get his information from you when we leave.
Cool. Okay, going into the last question. How are you guys helping out the local community? I think that's super important. The whole purpose of, this podcast, helping the local community. We're also doing a car show. Was it April 27th? I think it's April 27th, but we're partnering with Hope Harbor. I have a really big heart for people that experience domestic violence, just because, I experienced that when I was growing up. And, offering resources to people can be very beneficial. So the whole car show is basically funding a whole bunch of money to go to Hope Harbor to help in that cause. But going back, how are you guys helping the local community? And what can our live members know about how you guys are?
Well, for us right now, like, we're just starting out. We've already talked because veteran. We wanted to start doing the Home for Heroes and helping vets and all that stuff and giving the free roofs throughout the week. But at this moment, we're not there. We've already talked about. So we're doing everything we can that's not monetary, which is the information. Awesome. So we're trying to give that power back to the community in order for them to be able to make those educated decisions, which is in turning saving them money in the long run and shortcoming. So we're trying to do everything we can, not just now, but planning for those future steps, so that when it does happen, we can give back tenfold, like vets have everywhere else as well.
That's awesome, man. I need to get you guys linked in our veterans group. So Lane Mobley, he's a commercial real estate guy. He's actually going through the fire academy right now, but once he gets out, we have a veterans group, and it's all veterans that are basically, are business owners. It's male and female, but we all come together on a Saturday once a month, and we all pitch ideas to each other. It's kind of a power thinking group.
I'll sit outside as not a veteran, but I'll listen to the
Dude, you're more than invited.
Speaking of the veteran stuff, that just reminded me of that, because we've actually had several clients who are the military. PCSing, sometimes it can happen quick, sometimes it happens slow. But for us, we've actually had, I think it's 3 now. It's three or 4, and where they just get dropped. They're like, hey, we're leaving in next month. Well, they've already started the process for selling their house, plus getting a new roof, plus everything else. And we've actually had it where they can actually leave, and we handle this side of it, We keep them up to date with photos, videos, drone photos, phone calls, everything throughout the process. And so they're still, even though they're not here, they're still part of that process 100%. And I mean, we've got a couple now who actually have left reviews on our Facebook and Instagram. They weren't even in the state. They were in a completely different state.
Awesome.
And yet they felt like they were still part of, like they were still living there. And the wife even put on there, she was like, I wish I never would have sold the house, so we kept it.
She loved how it looked afterwards. Yeah. She loved her house before. She was like, oh, with the roof on there, it looks like a whole new house, and I regret it. It's like, you'll be happy, you'll be good.
But again, it goes back to, it's hard to find that good help. Yep. And that's what we're trying to give. We're trying to give that back, because it used to be, you shook my hand. You shook my hand. That meant something.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. And like buying a roof, dude, it's like $15,000. Like
It's not a cheap.
it's not, or more. I mean, that's the last time. When I was in Louisiana, we we bought a house in DeRidder by Fort Polk, and dude, a hurricane came through, ripped our roof off. Yeah, it was insane. Like
that goes back to what we talked about. You know, it's laws and regulations. Their roofing costs have only gone up because we have to put specific items on there that prevent things from just, hey, random windstorms come through and tear off one shingle and the house is now gone. It's like we have to put certain things on top of that roof that make it code compliant to make sure that, hey, one little rainstorm, one little windstorm isn't going to destroy that roof. So.
And that was, code compliance.
Yeah.
That was a big thing too, is we found out that, again, the quality was going down because of the quantity that people were putting out there. And not just the quantity, but the product that they were putting up there, even the small stuff. Like just a few things, that the gauge of the drip edge, or the type of pipe boots. Dude, we would actually start looking into, hey, could we upgrade this? Could it be a little thicker? Could instead of a 2-year boot, could we maybe put something else that might last a little longer? What's the price on that? Oh, it's like $5 more. What? Well, why the hell not?
It's those micro details that matter. In my industry, for example, like the rag that you use to wipe off a coating, it's so important. If you do the wrong rag, you're going to scratch the vehicle, or you're going to leave lint, and then your job's botched. Yeah. So, love that, man.
That was something that we do that regardless. Doesn't matter. We don't. I'm not knocking the Home Depot drip edge. I'm not, dude.
It's Home Depot.
I have it on my chicken coop. It's amazing. It's awesome for DIY. Yeah. It is. But when we can go a little bit better, for damn near the same price, why wouldn't I do that for you? If I want it for me, why wouldn't I do it for you?
Exactly. Yeah. Do we have any questions from our audience on the?
I haven't seen any so far. We checked the most recent.
Okay. So if you could give, this wasn't in the script, and I'm sorry. If you could give one thing to business owner, to a person in life that is thinking about getting in business, what is one advice you could give to them?
You're going to get two.
Okay.
You're going to get two, because this is where we differ. Go ahead. You go first.
Are you talking about roofing industry or just business in general?
Business in general.
I would say the biggest thing I could recommend is to understand what business you're going into. I feel that we've met quite a few people in our industry who have gone into business, and it's become a little bit more of a fad thing, because, this is a great money maker. It's really easy to make a whole bunch of money doing what you're doing. And I'm not saying that you can't, but if you don't understand what you're doing, then this is where the quality of work starts to drop. The quality of product starts to drop, because if you don't understand what you're putting on top of that roof, I'm not saying you have to have the homeowner needs to understand, but if you don't understand it as a business owner, you're going to make shortcuts on somebody's project that shouldn't have been made, because you don't understand what it all entailed, because, this is quick, easy money, and I just collected a $15,000 check, but you didn't put half what you're supposed to put on top of that roof because you had no idea what you were supposed to do to begin with.
I agree with a lot. But I also think take the step. Yes. Start.
Yeah.
If you feel like this is what I want to do, don't hold yourself back. Go for it. Seriously, go for it. If you want to do car detailing, start.
Exactly.
Just start somewhere. Pick up a vacuum. Start somewhere. Don't just sit there and try to just spend 5 years doing research. I'm not saying research is not important, because it is, and he's 100% right on that. But for me, dude, start. Because you will hold yourself back.
I totally agree with you, man. I mean, the biggest thing for our business, we've been trying to get tint and paint protection film. They're very, very hard skills to master. I mean, there's just 7 steps in tinting a car. One window. If you mess up once or you don't shrink it right, you got to rip it off. Paint protection film. I mean, you're working with angles, you're working with stretching. I mean, there's so many different things that can go wrong. But the one thing that you said, just start and don't give up. And you just got to be transparent with your customers. Hey, I'm new in this. I'm not going to be your best installer. If you're looking for the best, I'm not the guy. But it will look good. It's not going to look the best. If you're transparent with them, most of the time your customer will be like, I want you to do it, because they see the heart in it. They see that you want to progress as a person and your individual. And, that's the one thing that I'll never stop doing in my life. I won't ever give up on what my passions are.
People love the underdog. But if you start and your heart and soul is in it, you find those people who become more than just your client.
100%.
You're loyal to them, and they become loyal to you. And it's different, man, because once you get to a place where you know the ins and outs, you know it all. Like we just did this. We actually had an elder client that was there at the very beginning with us. Very beginning. And this is before we started our own business. Yeah. This is when we first started with another business, and they did it wrong. They did some stuff that was wrong. Yeah. Well, when we started our business, we went back and we were like, we're going to help you. And we took care of a bunch of stuff out of our own pocket to do it, because she's been there. Yeah. Because that was the trust, the belief, and that dude, it's power, man. It's a very important.
It is powerful, dude. And big shout out to one of my clients, Sean Blake. He's literally been with me since I started mobile detailing out of the back of my truck, dude. And he has always been there. Like, he's always been understanding, because I'm not perfect, dude. I've messed up. I'll raise my hand. I've messed up multiple times, but the key thing is that I own that I messed up and I made it right. So, but anyways, thank you so much for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, great. And if you guys have any questions about getting your roof done, reach out to these guys. They seem very well versed in this area. So, thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Appreciate you having us.
What'd you guys think?